On June 22, 1941, as the first rays of dawn broke over the Ukrainian countryside, a young woman named Lyudmila Pavlichenko lay motionless in a shallow ditch near Bilyivka. The air was thick with the rumble of German tanks and the shouts of invading Wehrmacht soldiers. She was 24 years old, a history student turned volunteer, armed with a standard Mosin-Nagant rifle and a 4AX scope. No fancy gear, no elite training camp. Just iron will and a skill honed in peacetime shooting clubs. The Nazis were part of Operation Barbarossa, Hitler's massive invasion of the Soviet Union, the largest in history, with over 3 million troops smashing through the borders. They expected a quick victory, just like in Poland and France. But Lyudmila, hidden in the tall grass, spotted 2 German scouts advancing 400 meters away. She didn't panic. She didn't rush. She waited, breathing steady, until they were perfectly aligned in her sights. Crack! The first man dropped. Crack! The second followed. No fanfare, no glory, just 2 bodies in the field. This was her debut. What those Germans didn't know, what the entire Wehrmacht High Command would soon learn, was that this unassuming student wasn't just a soldier. She was a predator, a ghost in the ruins, wielding a trick so simple, so psychologically devastating, it would turn the tide in brutal sieges and inspire a nation. This is the story of Lyudmila Pavlichenko, Lady Death, and the forgotten art of deadly patience that made her the deadliest female sniper in history. To understand how one woman could rack up 309 confirmed kills, more than entire platoons, and terrorize an invading army, you have to grasp the chaos of the Eastern Front. It was hell on earth. The Nazis hurled 4 million men, 600,000 vehicles, and 3,000 tanks at the Soviets. Stalin's Red Army, caught off guard, suffered millions of casualties in the first months. Cities fell like dominoes. But in the south, around Odessa and Sevastopol, the fight turned into a grinding siege. The Germans had superior tech, scoped Kar-98K rifles, Stuka dive bombers, heavy artillery. The Soviets had numbers, but they were poorly equipped, often sharing rifles. The world expected the USSR to collapse. Hitler boasted of victory by Christmas. But the Soviets had something else, grit, or what they called Soviet spirit. And in Lyudmila Pavlichenko, they had a weapon forged from it. Born in 1916 in Bila Tserkva, Ukraine, she was no warrior princess. She was a bookish girl, studying history at Kiev University, working in a factory to pay her way. But she had a hobby, marksmanship. In the Osoaviakim shooting clubs, Soviet civilian defense programs, she outshot men twice her age. When the Nazis invaded, she didn't wait for a draft. She marched to the recruitment office, demanding a sniper role. The officers laughed. A woman in combat. But after she aced a test, firing perfect shots at distant targets, they handed her a rifle. Lyudmila wasn't issued special equipment. Her Mosin-Nagant was the same bolt-action rifle millions carried, but she had tricks honed from club shooting and adapted to war's brutality. These weren't high-tech mods. They were farmer's daughter logic, simple and ruthless. First, camouflage. She didn't just hide. She became the landscape. In Odessa's rubble, she'd rub dirt on her face, wrap herself in burlap and debris, lie in bombed-out buildings for days. No movement, no sound. The Germans called Soviet snipers invisible death because of it. But her real crazy trick was patience. Deadly, inhuman patience. Sniping doctrine emphasized quick shots and relocation. Lyudmila flipped it. She'd stake out a position for hours, sometimes days, ignoring hunger, thirst, insects, even wounds. She'd watch enemy patterns, note wind shifts with a wet finger or grass blade, and wait for the perfect moment. Headshots only, efficient, instant kills. No body shots that might leave a man screaming, alerting others. And she targeted high-value prey. Officers, machine gunners, enemy snipers. It wasn't just killing. It was disruption. Another twist. Decoys. To lure out German snipers, she'd use dummy heads, hats on sticks poked from cover, or leave a wounded comrade's cry unanswered, waiting with the enemy to investigate. When they exposed themselves, crack. Gone. This psychological warfare broke morale. Germans knew a sniper was out there, but where? How long had she been watching? In one duel near Sevastopol, she outwaited a Nazi sniper for 3 days in pouring rain, both spotting each other's glints, but neither firing prematurely. On day 3, he blinked first, shifted position. She put a bullet through his scope. The Germans learned fast. Lyudmila's tally climbed, 100 kills in Odessa alone. She fought house to house, rooftop to rooftop, as the city held for 73 days against overwhelming odds. Evacuated by submarine when it fell, she redeployed to Sevastopol, the fortress port. There, in Crimea's rocky hills and ruined forts, her legend grew. 200 kills. 250. She survived 4 wounds, shrapnel, concussions, but kept going. Her unit nicknamed her Lady Death. The Nazis put a bounty on her head, broadcasting threats over loudspeakers. Surrender, Bolshevik woman, or die. The Wehrmacht escalated. They sent elite Jäger snipers, hunters trained in forests, to counter her. These were pros with camouflaged ghillie suits, Zeiss optics, orders to eliminate Red Army marksmen. Lyudmila hunted them back. She'd spot their muzzle flashes or boot prints, set traps with decoys, and wait. In duels that lasted hours, her patience won. She claimed 36 enemy snipers, each a mini battle of wits. One German diary, recovered later, described the fear. The she-devil waits like a spider. Move and you're dead. Stay and she finds you anyway. By mid-1942, Sevastopol was a slaughterhouse. The Germans bombed it relentlessly, over 1,000 tons of explosives daily. Lyudmila's position was hit multiple times. She dragged herself from rubble, rifle intact. Her total, 309 confirmed kills, verified by spotters. That's more than the average infantry company. But it wasn't just numbers. It was terror. German advances stalled as officers refused exposed positions, patrols hugged cover, morale plummeted. One captured Nazi officer admitted, "We fear the women snipers more than tanks. They see everything." The turning point came in June 1942. During a massive assault, shrapnel from a mortar shredded her leg and arm. Evacuated unconscious, she woke in a hospital, her war over. But her impact wasn't. Promoted to major, she was sent on a propaganda tour to the U.S. and Canada. Stalin's bid for Allied support. In Washington, she met Eleanor Roosevelt, charming crowds with wit. "Gentlemen, I am 25 years old, and I have killed 309 fascist invaders by now. Don't you think you've been hiding behind my back for too long?" It galvanized public opinion, hastening the Second Front. The ripple effect was massive. Lyudmila's story inspired thousands of Soviet women to join as snipers. Over 2,000 served, with 500-plus kills collectively. It exposed Nazi vulnerabilities, their superior army crippled by inferior foes. Historians argue her legend boosted Red Army resolve at Stalingrad, where snipers like Vasily Zaitsev echoed her tactics. Hitler underestimated Soviet tenacity partly because of such ghosts. Without them, the Eastern Front might have crumbled sooner. After the war, Lyudmila returned to history, finishing her degree, becoming a researcher. She avoided the spotlight, raising a son, traveling quietly. When asked her secret, she echoed simplicity, patience and practice. No remorse, just duty. I fought for my homeland. She died in 1974 at 58, buried with honors in Moscow. To this day, she's the deadliest female sniper ever, proof that one person's quiet grit can shatter empires. Like Simo Häyhä's snow tricks, Lyudmila's patience was a simple hack that rewrote rules. Wars aren't always won by armies, but by individuals who see what experts miss. If this story gripped you, like and subscribe for more untold white tales. Comment below. Who's your favorite unsung hero? Thanks for keeping history alive.